Alright guys, welcome back. So, let me be real with you. When I first started playing Raid Shadow Legends, the biggest headache I had was just figuring out which champions were actually worth keeping. Like, I was out here throwing random champs into upgrades, using them as food for my kale, and halfway through I was like, wait a second. Was that actually a good champion I just fed away? Painful mistakes, man. So today, we're fixing that. I put together a list of the top 20 epic champions you really want to keep your eye on as a beginner. This way, you won't be making the same mistakes I did, and you'll actually get ahead way faster. And honestly, right now's the best time to start your raid journey, because if you use my link down below, you're getting an insane head start. 3 legendary champions right out the gate. Michelangelo as your 7-day login reward, Elenaril just for signing up, and if you use the promo code Desert Queen, you'll also snag 2 Hanarak. Plus, you'll pick up some strong epics along the way. Basically, your roster is stacked before you even get deep into the game. Alright, enough talking. Let's dive straight into the top 20 epic champions that are actually valuable if you manage to pull them. Kicking things off at number 20, we've got Mordecai. Now, this guy might look like a cloaked sorcerer straight out of a horror story, but trust me, he's an absolute beast when it comes to HP burns. If you've ever been stuck banging your head against the spider dungeon or fighting the Hydra, Mordecai is one of the best tools you can bring. His HP burn placement doesn't care about weak hits, so you'll always land that damage over time, and he's actually one of the cleanest counters to Poison Cloud. But that's not all. He also brings an increase attack buff, which makes your damage dealers hit way harder. And his A2 works kinda like Deacon Armstrong's, boosting your team's turn meter while knocking down the enemies by 15%. That speed swing can win fights on its own. On top of that, his A1 can chop away at enemy turn meters, and if they're already burning, the chance goes even higher. Bottom line, Mordecai has stood the test of time. He's versatile, reliable, and if you need a burn champion for any affinity, this is your guy. Sliding in at number 19, we've got Ruella, the rebel of the Sylvan Watchers. Instead of sticking to the old ways, she decided to do her own thing. And honestly, we're all better off for it, because this champion is loaded with utility. First off, Ruella is a multi-hit machine. Both her A1 and A2 are triple hitters, which makes her perfect for bosses that punish you unless you break through their shields. Yep, I'm looking at you, Fire Knight. On that A2, she can throw down some of the best debuffs in the game. Damage reduction, slows, you name it. And while it's not a guaranteed 100% every time, remember, it's per hit, so the odds of landing everything are actually super high. Her A1 is just as nasty, stealing 15% of the enemy's turn meter if she crits, which pairs beautifully with her A3 because that move boosts your entire team's turn meter by 20% and slaps on an increased crit rate buff. Basically, she's speeding up your side while slowing down theirs. She even comes with one of the highest base speeds for an epic, 112, making her an amazing turn meter booster in Arena 2. And don't be surprised if players start slotting her into solid clan boss teams, thanks to that mix of debuffs and utility. Bottom line, Ruella is one of those epics that can do a little bit of everything, but shines the brightest in boss fights, especially Fire Knight. If you pull her, don't even think about using her as food, she's way too good. Coming in at number 18, we've got Creodan the Blue, the frosty speedster from the Sylvan Watchers. This guy is basically all about one thing, locking down enemies with freezes while juicing up your team's speed. Let's start with his A3, Blessing of the Blue. This move is crazy good. It slaps a 30% increased speed buff on all your allies and fills everyone's turn meter by 15%. In Arena, that can be the difference between going first and getting nuked. And in Clan Boss, that kind of speed boost lets you set up those sweet 2-to-1 speed tunes, which means you're hitting the boss twice for every one of their turns. Huge damage potential there. Now, the rest of his kit is basically a freeze festival. He's got single target freezes, AoE freezes, you name it. And those freezes are clutch for Doom Tower waves, Spider's Den to lock down those annoying spiderlings, or even hard mode Fire Knight when you need to control ads. And to top it all off, his passive makes him even more of a menace. He gains 5% turn meter every time a debuff is placed. So while he's out here freezing everything, he's also charging himself up like an Energizer Bunny. Bottom line, Creodan is all about control and speed manipulation. If you like running teams that keep the enemy permanently locked down, this frosty boy is going to feel right at home in your roster. At number 17, we've got Gala Longbraids, the fearless void dwarf who's all about smashing through defenses and leaving no mercy behind. If you like champions that hit like a truck, you're gonna love her. Gala's whole kit is built around ignoring defense, which is massive for punching through tanky opponents. Her A3, Sheer Swagger, is a triple hitter that ignores 25% of the enemy's defense, and if she's still at full HP after swinging, she takes an extra turn. That's where her damage really starts to snowball. Then she's got her A2, which is even nastier. It ignores 50% of an enemy's defense if they're under a shield, and on top of that, she puts a shield on herself equal to the surplus healing she gets from that attack. If you set her up with blood shield accessories or team her with allies in shield or bolster sets, she just keeps fueling herself for more turns. This extra turn cycle means Gala can rip through arena opponents, chew away at Fire Knight's shield, and even deal some real pain to Hydra heads. She's one of those epics that can turn into a single target wrecking ball if you build her right. Bottom line, if you pull Gala, don't let her sit in the vault. Build her, gear her smart, and she'll be deleting enemies before they even know what hit them. At number 16, we've got Ugo, the brewmaster of the Ogren tribes. Don't let the drums and potions fool you. This epic is one of the most clutch support champions in the entire game. Ugo is best known as a Hydra killer, and honestly, she's one of the best epics you can bring into that fight. Her A2 is the real star. It hits every enemy with decreased defense and block buffs at the same time. That combo is insane, because not only are you making enemies take way more damage, you're also stopping them from putting up their nasty buffs. Against Hydra, Doom Tower waves, buff-heavy Cursed City encounters, or even arena teams, this is game-changing control. Then you've got her A3, Ugo's Brew, which is a lifesaver. She cleans his heal reduction, strips off another random debuff, and then heals your team for 20% of her max HP. Super handy against bosses like the Head of Decay or any fight where crowd control can wreck your run. And here's the kicker. If she's the last one alive, this skill can trigger a full AoE revive. That's a clutch save button that can completely turn a fight around. On top of that, Ugo's passive gives her block damage and increased speed if she's the last one standing, helping her survive long enough to actually pull off that revive. And don't forget her A1. She places Leech, which just stacks even more healing for your team as they deal damage. Bottom line, Ugo is ridiculously versatile. Whether it's Hydra, Doom Tower, Arena, or Faction Wars, she always brings value. If you're lucky enough to pull her, she's 100% worth building. And that wraps up the first half of the list. Some seriously strong epics already, but trust me, the next batch is where things get really spicy. So if you thought these were good, wait till you see the top 15 epic champions coming up next. Number 15, Dark Kael. All right, kicking things off with a banger, Dark Kael. For ages, people wondered what happened to him while his siblings, Dark Athel and Dark Elhain, were running around. Turns out, my man was chilling in the Doom Tower the whole time. He finally steps into raid through a fragment collector. But here's the catch. You won't be pulling him from shards. He's strictly tied to Doom Tower secret rooms. Now let's talk kit. Dark Kael screams clan boss monster, but honestly, he brings way more utility than just that. His A1 is a triple hitter that can blow up 2 poisons or a poison plus an HP burn. And since it's a triple hit, that means Giant Slayer Mastery is right on the table. His A2 extends debuffs and throws in a decrease attack. Not exactly Vizier levels of extension, but it's a really nice touch. Then his A3, poison sensitivity plus 3 more poisons slapped on the enemy. But the real sauce is his passive. If enemies are under 2 or more poisons, their crit rate gets dropped by 15%. That's huge. Most PvE enemies sit at 15% crit baseline, so against clan boss or other bosses, boom, no more crits. And if you've ever wiped early because of a nasty crit, Dark Kael just solved that problem. Bottom line, tons of poisons, debuff control, damage scaling, and defensive value. He's an absolute boss killer and easily earns his spot on this top 15 list. Number 14, Skrank. Next up, we've got the dual blade wielding, fire slinging beast himself, Skrank. This Ogren Tribe's epic is basically a walking inferno, and trust me, he is a problem. First off, his claim to fame, 100% chance to land an AoE HP burn. That alone makes him a Hydra clan boss and Spider Dungeon MVP. You want bosses to melt? Skrank's your guy. But it doesn't stop there. His passive cranks him into overdrive. Once 5 enemies are burning, he gets a fat 25% boost to attack and crit damage. That's insane. His numbers start climbing into god-tier nuker territory real quick. And it gets even spicier. His AoE also pushes his turn meter for every crit he lands. You know what that means? Against Dark Fae, Skrank just goes nuts. Crits your whole mirror team, fills his turn meter, and he's ready to swing again before anyone can breathe. His A2 gives him his own increased attack buff, plus a handy self-heal, and his A1 brings Weaken into the mix, because why not pile on even more damage potential? Bottom line, massive AoE HP burns, crazy self-scaling damage, turn meter boost shenanigans, and solid debuffs. Skrank is an absolute menace, and that's why he's holding down the number 14 spot. Number 13, Morag Bronzalok. Coming in at number 13, we've got the bronze forging powerhouse herself, Morag Bronzalok. She's not just swinging a sword for style points. This dwarf is built to protect and punish at the same time. Her biggest flex? That unique passive. Anytime she's under strengthen and gets hit, she auto-claps back with a counterattack. And the best part? She can set this up herself with her A2, which slaps all enemies and drops a 25% strengthen buff on the whole squad. That's huge. Most epics don't even bring team-wide strengthen, and here she is casually cutting incoming damage while setting herself up to strike back. Then her A3? Straight chaos. She teams up with 2 random allies, smacks down a single target, and if that enemy drops, she gets an extra turn. That's perfect for bosses like Fire Knight, where every hit matters, or just snowballing fights by chaining right back into her AoE strengthen. Sure, her A1 is plain damage, but when you've already got ally attacks, counterattacks, and team strengthen, who's really complaining? Bottom line, Morag is the perfect mix of tankiness, team sustain, and sneaky high damage. She's a defensive damage dealer that makes your team harder to kill while dishing out pain at the same time. That's why she locks down the number 13 spot. Sliding into the number 12 spot is none other than Demitha, the blue flame-wielding dwarven protector who's been a clan boss legend since day one. Her kit is what made her an instant fan favorite, a block damage buff on a 3-turn cooldown, something that used to be super rare outside of champs like Roshkard and Warcaster. But Demitha didn't stop there. Her A2 extends buffs, which opened the door for some of the most broken clan boss comps ever, like the famous synergy with Harris that led to the ultimate unkillable team. But don't think she's just a one-trick pony. Demitha shines way beyond clan boss. In Doom Tower, Cursed City, dungeons, or anywhere with heavy-hitting bosses, she's clutch. She can heal based on turns added or removed. She can shield your squishiest ally, and she even brings a universal defense aura to make your whole team tankier. Bottom line, Demitha is the definition of a game-changing epic. Whether she's carrying you through clan boss with block damage setups, or keeping your whole squad alive across endgame content, she's an investment that pays off forever. That's why she comfortably lands at number 12. Number 11, Seeker. Kicking off the edge of the top 10 is Seeker, the Undead Horde's bat-fueled beast who has cemented himself as one of the best turn meter boosters in all of Raid. His A2 is a masterpiece, increase attack for your whole team, plus an extra turn for himself. That means this skill is basically on a 2-turn cooldown, making Seeker a cornerstone in some of the most famous clan boss comps, like the Batman Eater. Whether you're running unkillable or traditional speed tunes, Seeker keeps the rhythm going. And when it comes to arena, he's just as nasty. He's perfect for speed boosting, but the real kicker is his passive, giving your team a massive defense boost if you get hit first. That makes him one of the top picks for go-second arena strategies, where you bait the enemy's nuke and then clap back twice as hard. On top of that, his A1 Provoke adds a surprising layer of control, letting you handle Doom Tower bosses like the Head of Decay or Magma Dragon with ease. Bottom line, Seeker isn't just a turn meter booster. He's an engine that keeps your team alive, moving, and nuking harder than ever. That's why he lands just outside the top 10. And now, we're stepping into the real fire. The top 10 epic champions in Raid Shadow Legends. The ones that can straight up carry your account and make Legendaries jealous. Let's get into it. Number 10, Rector Drath. Alright, starting off the top 10 epics at number 10, we've got Rector Drath. And listen, this champ right here is basically your team's guardian angel wrapped up in a creepy looking package. Like, don't be fooled by her spooky vibe. She's one of the best support epics you can get your hands on. So what makes her so good? First off, Perfect Veil. And I'm not talking about some weak situational buff. I mean constant team protection. In fights like Hydra and Doom Tower, where bosses are smacking your squad left and right, Perfect Veil basically makes your team harder to target and way more survivable. She's turning your glass cannons into ninjas, harder to hit, harder to kill. Then she brings decrease attack on her A1. And yo, don't sleep on that. Lowering the enemy's attack means your team is taking way less damage over time, and that's the difference between surviving a long boss fight and watching your whole squad get folded. And the cherry on top? Her revive. Sure, it's single target, not a big flashy AoE revive, but it comes with a resistance buff. That's huge for late game content, because not only is she bringing your champ back, she's also making sure they don't instantly get slapped by the next debuff or poison cloud that comes flying in. It's like, welcome back to the fight, and here's some armor so you don't immediately die again. Now, if I gotta roast her a little, she's not gonna win you fights with damage. You're not bringing Rector Drath to nuke waves. She's not flashy like that. But if you want someone who keeps your team alive, makes fights consistent, and shuts down the enemy's damage potential, she's an absolute MVP. That's why she earns the number 10 spot on this list. Solid healer, reliable reviver, and perfect Veil Queen for Hydra and Doom Tower. Number 9, Venomage. Alright, coming in at number 9, we've got Venomage. And man, this champ is just nasty in the best way possible. Like, everything about her kit screams, I'm here to make the enemy's life miserable. And honestly, she does that job perfectly. Let's start with the obvious. AoE heal reduction and poisons on a 3-turn cooldown. That's insane. Against bosses like Hydra, Dragon, or even Fire Knight, shutting down their healing and stacking up poisons is basically like putting them on a timer. They might be tanky, but Venomage is out here saying, nah, you're on borrowed time, buddy. Then she adds decreased defense and decreased attack. And listen, those are two of the most important debuffs in the game. Decreased defense makes your team's damage skyrocket, and decreased attack means the enemy is suddenly hitting like they forgot how to fight. Put those together, and what do you get? A much smoother, safer run. Your team stays alive longer, your nukers hit harder. Venomage just makes everything feel easier. And then, there's her passive. She literally reduces damage from poisoned enemies. Like, think about that. She's out here poisoning the boss, and then also saying, by the way, since you're poisoned, you can't hit me as hard either. That's toxic in every sense of the word. Now, here's the roast. She's not a nuker. You're not going to see her topping the damage charts compared to someone like Kale or a built-out Legendary. But the value she brings isn't raw numbers. It's control, survivability, and consistency. She's the champ that makes your entire team better just by being there. That's why Venomage locks down the number 9 spot. She's not flashy, but she's one of the nastiest debuffers in the game and an absolute lifesaver in long fights. Number 8, Whisper. Yo, Whisper is that silent assassin you don't see coming until your boss is already halfway to the grave. This epic absolutely melts single targets. And when I say melts, I mean she'll turn clan boss, Fire Knight, or even Doom Tower bosses into butter on a hot pan. She brings her own self-buffs to crank up the damage, she slaps on weaken, and the best part? Every time she crits and things line up, she gets bonus turns, which means her damage starts to snowball out of control. You blink and the boss's HP bar is chunked down like crazy. If you're struggling with late-game bosses, Whisper is your cheat code. Straight-up boss killer vibes. Number 7, Farrakhan the Fat. Don't let the name fool you. This dude is an absolute loot unit. Farrakhan the Fat is hands down the best ally attack epic in the game, and honestly, he even claps harder than some legendary ally attack champs. Yeah, I said it. Here's why he's a monster. He brings increased crit rate and crit damage for the whole squad, throws out poisons and HP burns, and then drags your entire team into an ally attack like, let's go boys, everybody hit at once. That combo makes him essential for Clan Boss, a total weapon in Fire Knight, and just a menace anywhere you need damage stacked fast. He's not just good, he's core team material. If you pull him, build him immediately. Dude's a walking raid boss. Number 6. Miscreated Monster. This dude is built like a nightmare, but plays like your team's guardian angel. Miscreated Monster is the king of spider progression and one of the best shield supports in the entire game. His AoE stun locks down waves so enemies barely get to breathe, and then he throws up massive shields based on the damage he deals, which means the harder he hits, the tankier your team becomes. On top of that, he's rocking ally protection and continuous heals, so not only is he shielding your squad, he's soaking up damage and healing them through it. Basically, he's a full-on carry for early to mid-game players and still crazy valuable late game. If you're stuck on Spider's Den or struggling with wave control in Doom Tower, Miscreated Monster is the answer. He doesn't just protect your team, he makes them unkillable. And that wraps up number 6 with Miscreated Monster holding it down like a one-man fortress. But now it's time to turn things up a notch. We're stepping into the big leagues, the real game changers. Welcome to the top 5 epics in Raid, Shadow Legends, the ones that completely redefine your team's power level. Number 5, Deacon Armstrong. Bruh, if you've been sleeping on Deacon, wake up. This dude is literally one of the most valuable epics in the entire game, and it's not even close. First off, AoE decreased defense. And not just that, but on a 2-turn cooldown thanks to his cheeky extra turn mechanic. That's insane. Pair him with any nuker, and you're deleting waves before they even know what's up. On top of that, he's got turn meter control on both ends, fills your team's meter while dropping the enemies. That's literally free speed tuning without needing god-tier gear. Oh, and don't forget the speed aura in all battles. Yeah, not just dungeons, not just arena, everywhere. That alone makes him an auto-include for so many accounts. Deacon isn't just good, he's account changing. If you pull him early on, trust me, you're eating good. Number 4, Stag Knight. Now listen, if you've ever had trouble controlling bosses or keeping enemies in check, Stag Knight is your guy. Don't let that goofy deer helmet fool you. This dude is a monster when it comes to debuffing. His bread and butter? That AoE decreased defense plus decreased attack. And here's the crazy part. It's on just a 3-turn cooldown. That's some legendary level consistency packed into an epic. Decreased defense makes your whole team hit harder, while decreased attack shuts down incoming damage, basically doubling your survivability. It's like having a built-in insurance policy every few turns. But that's not all. His A1 slaps on decreased speed. And if you've played Raid long enough, you know how broken speed control is. Whether it's Fire Knight, Dark Fae, or even arena fights, slowing enemies down gives your squad the breathing room to dominate. Fire Knight's shield drops easier. Dark Fae's clones don't cycle back around to destroy you. And in dungeons, mobs just feel like they're walking through quicksand. The beauty of Stag Knight is how plug-and-play he is. He doesn't need insane gear, he doesn't need to be booked to the moon, and he doesn't require fancy setups. You drop him in a team, and suddenly everything just feels smoother. More control, less damage taken, faster runs. Bottom line, Stag Knight is one of those epics that feels like you're cheating when you get him early. He's basically a Swiss Army knife for debuffs, and that utility will carry you deep into late-game content. Number 3, Ursala the Mourner. Now listen, if you've been around Raid long enough, you know that support champs can literally make or break your account, and Ursala the Mourner is one of those champions that can completely carry you through some of the hardest content. Her kit is just stacked for keeping your team alive. First off, she's got one of the best revives in the entire epic pool. Not just bringing your team back, but she brings them back buffed. I'm talking about throwing on Strengthen and Increased Defense for 3 whole turns. That's insane value because your freshly revived champs don't just pop up to get clapped again, they actually come back tankier and ready to fight. And she's not done there. Ursala also brings an AoE decrease attack, which makes enemy hits feel way lighter, plus an increase attack buff for your whole squad. So she's giving you defense and offense in one move. That's straight up game-changing utility. If you're pushing through campaign, dungeons, Doom Tower waves, or even dipping into arena, Ursala makes it all smoother. She just gives your team breathing room when things get messy. That mix of reviving, buffing, and weakening enemies makes her a huge progression tool, especially if you're not stacked with legendary revivers yet. Basically, she's the kind of champ you slot into your team, and suddenly fights that felt impossible before are actually winnable. She's one of those glue champions that holds the squad together, and that's exactly why she earns this number 3 spot on the list. Number 2, Geomancer. Alright, if we're talking about epics that punch way above their weight class, Geomancer is basically the poster child. This dude is straight up unfair when it comes to boss fights. His whole kit is built around turning the enemy's strength against them. The big thing? His passive. Anytime the enemy tries to do damage, Geomancer just says, "Cool story, bro," and reflects insane amounts of it right back thanks to his HP burn mechanics. So, instead of you panicking about big boss slams, you're literally watching the boss burn themselves down. It's hilarious and busted at the same time. And it doesn't stop there. Geomancer also brings an AoE decrease accuracy, which is huge utility against some of the nastier bosses like Hydra and Dark Phase Chimera heads. Lowering their accuracy means way fewer debuffs landing on your team, which buys you way more survivability. The beauty of Geomancer is that he's not some crazy gear hog either. You don't need god-tier artifacts to make him work. Give him some solid accuracy to land his debuffs, a bit of speed so he's not snoozing through the fight, and boom, he's already cooking. That accessibility is what makes him such a universal pick. Arena? He can mess around there. Doom Tower? Absolutely. But where he really shines, where he straight up becomes a cheat code, is against Clan Boss and Hydra. Watching him basically delete bosses with their own damage is one of the most satisfying things in Raid. So yeah, when it comes to boss slayers, Geomancer is sitting near the very top. The utility, the damage reflect, the ease of building him, he's just too good. That's why he locks down the number 2 spot on this list. And finally, locking down the number 1 spot, we've got the absolute queen of wave clearing, Seer. If you've played Raid for any decent stretch of time, you already know how disgusting she is. This champion doesn't just clear waves, she obliterates them in ways that even most legendary nukers can't keep up with. The secret sauce? Her skill Karma Burn. This thing is basically a giant red delete button. She rips all the buffs off your team and converts them into straight up nuke damage that just wipes enemy waves clean. Dungeons, Doom Tower, Faction Wars, doesn't matter. If Seer is in your squad, waves disappear in seconds. Now here's the wild part. It's not like she's some fragile, niche champion either. When paired with strong buffer champs, Seer scales to ridiculous levels. Bring in someone who stacks your team with a ton of buffs, like Mausoleum Mage, Lydia, or even a budget option like Spirit Host. And suddenly Seer is dropping numbers that make even legendary damage dealers look like they're playing on easy mode. What makes her so vital is speed. Late game players rely on Seer to turn dungeon runs that used to take forever into smooth 30-second farming machines. She is basically the engine behind almost every late game speed team strategy. You want fast dragon runs? Seer. You want instant ice golem clears? Seer. Doom Tower waves giving you headaches? Guess what? Seer. The truth is, once you unlock her potential, it's almost impossible to imagine farming without her. That's why she's not just good, she's essential. She sets the standard for wave clearers in this game, and that's why Seer sits comfortably at number 1 on this list. There you have it. Our top 20 epic champions in Raid Shadow Legends. Honestly, some of these epics can carry you just as hard as legendaries if you build them right, so don't sleep on them. Now, if you want to start your Raid journey with a stacked roster from day 1, remember, you can use my link in the description. You'll get 3 legendary champions right out of the gate, plus some solid epics to help you blast through the early game. Pretty crazy head start if you ask me. Thanks for hanging out, drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown, and I'll catch you in the next one.